Hello. Good evening. This is Timothy here, and welcome to my Property Place live chat. It's gonna be another Saturday full of exciting stuffs. We're gonna learn about something interesting about overseas properties, property investments in different countries. I think that should excite some people who have the tendency to diversify the properties investment portfolio. So this is what we're talking about. We're talking about something that not many people know about, but yet want to learn about. Okay, perhaps for those of you who have just joined us, My Property Place is a live chat, online live chat that goes on every Saturday, 9 p.m., where we cover many different topics. We are basically like a discussion forum, right? A discussion forum, we talk about anything to do with property investment. It can be feng shui, it can be how your real estate agent dress up, if that matters to you, right? So that's what we talk about. But really, I always tell people that property investment is all about knowledge, all about taking precaution. Okay, so like what they say, knowledge is power. The more you know, the more you are in control of the situation. So you can also log into mypropertyplace.com, where I compile all the real estate related news, and I compile it and put it in there in one place, so you can actually refer to it. It's mypropertyplace.my. Sorry, it's my, right? Not .com. Okay, and also we have a YouTube channel on My Property Place YouTube channel, where every video that I have, I will archive it and I'll store inside there, so you can check back the video at your own leisure time. So basically, as I mentioned to you, we run every Saturday 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. We cover many different topics, and this week we are talking about international properties. Next week we'll be talking about tax. Okay, that is also something very interesting. And so before I bring you my guest for today, I will tell you that this show will run for 1 hour. And if you have any questions at all, feel free to type in the chat box there, and we will try to answer the questions for you live here. And if we cannot make it on time, we will still answer your questions for you. Okay, for more of this, welcome to My Property Place. And we are back. Okay, today I am very lucky to be accompanied. My Saturday night is wonderful because I'll be accompanied by two gorgeous ladies. They are sisters. That's happening, right? I'm not trying to sound spooky or anything, but yeah. Okay, we have Mandy, we have Angela. Welcome to My Property Place. Mandy, Angela, how are you all tonight?
Good, very well. How's your evening?
Very good. My evening always looks the same in the background, you can see. Mandy is a little bit experiencing a little bit, sorry, Angela is experiencing a bit of lag. In fact, you guys should know that Angela is right now in Ipoh. Okay, so nicer weather, lesser Wi-Fi over there, so you can actually enjoy life. Not like us in KL, right, Mandy, where we are always stressed with we got no excuse to not work because our Wi-Fi is short. Yeah.
Too strong. We gotta work every day and night.
Yeah. Okay, maybe what I can do is I can start by asking you to Mandy to introduce yourself. Tell us what you do, and yeah, a little bit more about yourself.
Okay, I'm actually in this industry for more than 10 years. And before I joined to be an international consultant, I actually, just like every agent, I started with local projects and sub-sales as well. So after a while, I met someone from the ex-company, and she brought me into international sales. Then out of the blue, that I have a passion with international sales already. Then from there on, I started with my journey on the international sales. Yeah. And myself, even though I'm invested in Malaysia as well, so right now I actually diversified my investments to overseas as well.
I think to be able to be an expert in international property, you've got to really have a lot of passion, because people have to put a lot of work to learn about this, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now let's move over to Angela. Angela, can you hear us?
Angela, you there?
She got a very stressful face right now. I think she's having pressure with the Wi-Fi connection. But okay, Mandy, why don't you tell us what kind of international properties do you handle, or should I say, what country do you cover?
In those days, I only started with Australia. Then, since I joined this new company, IQI, and I actually explored into quite a number of countries from all the way to Europe, Middle Eastern to Southeast Asia.
That's quite a huge coverage. You covered quite different areas, right? Okay. While Angela is still trying to connect in, perhaps I can tell you guys in the audience a little bit of Angela, and Mandy probably you can share also, because she's your sister. You can tell me more.
Yep.
Okay. So both of you are sisters, and both of you are in the business together. It's really exciting to be doing work together as family members, right? Angela, you're back, and are you okay so far? Okay, she's still trying to figure out. Let me just move on. Angela's, you know what? Angela has always been in the overseas stock market. Am I right, Angela? So I think she's doing pretty well there, and obviously, family members have more power. So Mandy has been pestering her to come into real estate. I mean, I know Mandy way back. She has always been very passionate about property. So obviously, she wants to pull her family member Angela into this business. And yep, blood is thicker than water. So both of them are in the business right now, and I think Angela is having a good time in this industry, right? So maybe Mandy, tell us more about Angela. How are you guys, working together? Is it easy to work together as sisters?
Sometimes it's not, obviously. We do argue and we do fight because we might have different opinions sometimes, but then as at the end of the days, we still work in the same directions with the same objective and with the same passion. So in fact, it took me quite a while to actually influence my sister or convince my sister to join me, because you know that people are in the share market. They have earned the fast incomes, the money and everything comes so easy. You get what I mean? Compared to property, it's like you probably need more time, patience.
We struggle like mad, right?
Yes.
Angela, your sister
No,
saying
I
that
don't
you're making.
agree that.
Yeah, she said you're making a lot of money and all.
No, I don't agree. I do. Yeah, I do. I certainly do make a lot of money in share market. That is, I understand that even though I make money, but I have sort of no time for myself, because in share market you have to be time to time. You have to be really like people getting in like a punch card. 9 o'clock you got to start to know about the market. You got to at night you got to observe. You got to know about the overseas market as well. So time to time it's like hardly have time to do whatever you like. Like I know if you're saying that you want to go for holiday, you got to start to think about whether you should throw out all your shares. I like when you invest in your property, you just leave it there and you have no worries about that. Not saying that 3-4 days the property market will go down or collapse.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think it's fast moving. Your industry is very fast moving, share market.
Yeah, ups and down right now. You get bumps and hate, and then at times. Probably
I
you
have.
don't know. It is covered by the
So
hair.
she probably got a lot of bumps on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It's okay. You still look good. Don't worry.
Thank
So
you.
I understand that Angela, you are over in Ipoh, right? And Mandy is here in PJKL here together, like with me here. So how do you all work with each other?
Yes.
Being so far apart.
That's how I work with you right now.
Technology.
Right? Yes, technology.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, a phone call. But I cannot actually concentrate or serve the northern part. There's no worry because we are in international lines. So does that mean that we don't have to be in Australia? We don't have to be
Yeah.
in Thailand and Vietnam for that Cambodia as well. We can still work.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. As far as we can explain to our potential buyers and investors the
Yes.
potential of the other countries, some of them, they can even buy property without even going to the country, right?
Yes, precisely.
Mm.
Yeah,
Actually,
I totally agree.
that brings me to one of the topic that I like to alert a lot of our listeners here about why investing in overseas properties, because there are a lot of people who are aware of the importance of investing in property, but at the same time they focus so much on what to invest in, what kind of condo, what kind of landed property, but they ignore the part that is most important, where to invest in. I mean, I hope you guys both agree. There are so
Yes.
many opportunities available in so many different parts of the world, but we are yet focusing on just Malaysia alone, right? Because that's what
Yes.
people know. There's not enough people like you, Mandy and Angela, to go out there to educate people on investing in overseas. I mean, it's very plain simple fact that if you are investing, Angela, you know best, you wouldn't dump all your money into one single business, or one, you don't save all your
Exactly.
money in one bank account, or you only do rental properties, but you have to diversify so that you keep yourself safe in case of anything goes wrong. So that's why I think
Yes.
there is a reason that we invest in overseas properties. But both of you, since you guys are also in this investment, do you also purchase properties yourself overseas?
Yes,
Of
of
course.
course.
One,
Of course.
Mandy, yeah,
Of
Angela,
course, that was the time when people confront me much earlier, from 10 years ago, and asking me to buy purchasing overseas. That
yeah,
was the most worry that I had, because I don't know her very well. Neither whatever information he gave me is like, if I'm in the share market, everything is true. You got to do a research yourself. You got to, you got to talk to friends, a lot of friends. The group of investors, we are together. But only when my sister are in international property, then I have really had a great faith on it.
mm,
Honestly, that's true. Mhm.
of course lah. I mean,
And
if I,
because she can
yeah,
provide, yes, she can provide me a lot of informations.
yeah.
And yes, this is one of the things that it is my worried.
Yeah. Of course, when you have in Hokkien we say kaki lang to cover you, so there's
Yes,
always trust there, right? Okay, you don't
yes,
mind if we be
yes.
a bit more casual about this. Let me say hi to some of our audience here. We have some of the listeners here. Carol Wong, how are you? Thank you very much for joining us. We have Tammy inside as well. Irvin, how are you? Irvin, thank you. Every show you support me. Thank you very much, Irvin. You have been very, very kind. And David Cock, we have a lawyer in the house as well. Mandy, you know David Cock? David Cock is quite out there. She's with MIEA, and he does a lot of speak a lot about MIEA stuffs in our real estate industry as well.
All right.
Okay, so these are they are all my supporters. They have been in my show every night. Okay, now I think because of this current financial instability, if I might call it,
Yep.
and also government also unsure. I won't go very deep into government, but that actually is a very, very important factor for us to look at different countries. But okay, I'm going to treat both myself as fresh. I've never invested in overseas. Maybe Mandy, you can share with me what are some of the very, very strong reason that I should look into overseas properties.
Okay. First of all, you have to actually look at it. It's like, what is your investment purpose? A lot of people are actually buying for holiday home, or some purely for investment purposes, and some is for retirement home. And I do know that some is actually looking for like, I would say, buying for the kids, for educations, for further educations, or is this a saving for the children's for futures education fund?
Hmm.
And some actually thought of migrating. That's why they're wanting to buy a house or home in overseas.
Hmm.
And of course, when we talk about investment in overseas, we always talk about hedge against the currency. That is
Hmm.
probably one of the most important things. Okay, especially that right now our ringgit is actually getting weakening every
Yeah,
now and then.
not not
Yeah,
in, not in, don't go to gym enough lah. The currency,
yeah.
so it's very weak.
So even though compared to our nearest neighbor like Singapore and Thailand,
Uh,
our currency is kind of not that
Way behind.
way behind them already. So those days when we go to Thailand, we enjoy like one ringgit equals to $10. But right now, there's no longer this story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I think another topic that I just suddenly remember is that, um, protecting assets. Like sometimes if I buy my property overseas, in case I have any issues, I think this is for business owners. Like in case I have any issues with the company being sued or legal matters, and they want to take over my assets and stuff like that. If I have properties overseas, chances are they cannot be confiscated, right? Is that right?
Yes, because it will probably take much more times when it comes to different territory. You have different jurisdictions to go about it, and you got to apply and everything will take a longer time. So that's why a lot of like in European countries, like a lot of them, they actually diversify somewhere else as well. This is probably one of the reasons. And of
Yeah.
course, the other thing I've just thought of it is like a lot of people like they want to diversify is in case that I mean, you would say that performance of each country, the property investments will vary. Okay, sometimes it's like during the economic decline, in particular in your homeground country, if you were to invest in overseas, so you can actually make a profit out there rather than you put all the egg in one basket. So eventually, economic decline. So you might see that your investment have actually gone to the drain.
Yeah, I remember during I can't remember during our unrest here, where a lot of people are a couple of years back, where everyone is looking to diversify outside their investments because of instability here. I think that time was just before elections and stuff like that. So people are so worried. I see a lot of mid-level executives are actually looking to buy properties outside, and properties like, for example, my favorite is, of course, I love Australia. Okay, I particularly Gold Coast. That is like my favorite place, lah. Not because of the beach and bikini and everything. Okay, that's beside the point.
You sure?
My wife's not here. It's okay. She's not listening. Okay. Yeah, but I just find that place very relaxing, and I know several parts of Australia also. I've been, but Angela, I know you are quite specialized in specific countries for investment. Where Cambodia, Vietnam. I've been to Cambodia and Vietnam for holiday, but I have zero experience in investing in these countries. How is it like? Like say Vietnam, where is a good place to invest in Vietnam?
Well, of course, Vietnam is divided into many zones or district. That is District 1 to 7, just like in UK, London, you have Zone 1 to, Zone whatever, Zone 2 and 3 to 7. So I would say the District 1, 2 and 7 will be the better place to invest because of course, Zone 1 is definitely, talking about District 1 is definitely the CBD, and then anyhow, the CBD's price right now is already increasing tremendously.
Yeah.
So therefore, Zone 2 or District 2 will be still all right. And especially right now, time to time, Vietnam, especially in this emerging market, it has been picking up. And then a lot of investors going in, like Taiwanese, Korean, and then the Russian peoples in US, people are all buying in, and they have even come up with the monorail train stations, and then they have a lot of bridges that is connected to District 1. So in other words, going to the CBD area is much nearer, but then the price comparing is so much cheaper, affordable. So we are talking about District 1 is about 6,000 square meters, 6,000 per square meters, and you are talking about District 2, it can be just 3,500.
Okay.
So again, and then the distance is pretty near. You can be, if you're taking the so-called bridge over the district, it can be just maybe 10 minutes, or some of the property is even 5 minutes. So if you're comparing with the per square meters wise, it's still Zone 2 is still a good place to, District 2 is still a good entry price. And if you're talking about District 7, that is the more organized area, just like a lot of Taiwanese 10 years ago, they have been going in. And if you are talking about organizing, like we put it in Malaysia, like Setia Alam. It's like very well planned, organized district, and clean, and you have golf course there, you know, a lot of expatriate there, a lot of international schools there. And though that it sounded like District 7 is so far away, but it's still very
Yeah.
good. So long that there is no traffic jam. Everywhere is the
Ah,
same. Traffic
the
is the
same
one that
lah.
causes,
But I
yes.
think traffic jam overseas is a lot more more heavier than Malaysia. Malaysia is still manageable, you know. And
Yes, yes. If you talk about Thailand, you know, the traffic jam
yeah,
there is so, you know, but at least they
Thailand,
have some.
Indonesia.
Yes,
Philippines.
Philippines. Yes,
Oh my
Philippines.
goodness.
Yes. So
Yeah.
yes,
Okay.
buying again with the property near the amenities where the transport is convenient. So therefore, the traveling time is lesser. Then the investment point is much better. And then of course, around the river or view lake, you know, those are the ever people looking for. You know, as even you're talking about feng shui wise, it's still water, water, water,
Yeah, I
right?
think these are some of the universal requirements for investors to look out
Yes.
for. If let's say you have the money, basically public transportation, main commercial hub,
Yes.
in front of the waterfront. These 3 points, even in Malaysia, is also valuable. Don't say overseas,
Yes.
right?
And
Yeah.
the renowned developer.
Yeah, oh, of course. It has to be not something that you go there three
Yes.
years later and the whole building is not there anymore. Yeah, kind of kind of worrying. Okay, I have a couple of questions. I'm going to just take one of the question. This is from Carol Wong. Carol Wong is expert in retirement living. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
she's a friend of mine. She's
Mm-hmm.
saying that where is more economy to retire in overseas that can stretch our retirement fund? Yeah, I think because of our currency is not very big. Yeah, so when we take our money and want to retire overseas, right? Where is more cost effective? In 2020, International Living Research revealed that Malaysia is the 7th best place to retire global. What do you all think?
Okay, right now I think there are a few countries that when talking about retirement. So number one is probably they're talking about Cambodia, because
Mm.
cost of living in Cambodia is not that high as well, and Vietnam is probably another one. And of course, if you want to enjoy a little bit of European styles, then you probably go to Portugal. Right now, the Portugal Golden Visa is actually
Oh yeah,
very,
I heard about that.
yes, yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, you can buy a property there and you can get a visa
Mm-mm.
there, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Exactly. That's right.
And of
So
course, Thailand is one of our nearest
Thailand,
neighbor country.
Thailand
Yes.
can never retire. You'll be like party all night long. Carol, if you go to Thailand, you will never retire. You're gonna party all night long, right?
No,
Maybe
of course, you are not
And gain
talking about
weight.
Bangkok. Yeah, a lot of them they prefer to retire in like Chiang Mai, in
yeah,
those Pattaya or Phuket area.
yeah, somewhere even a little bit colder weather, huh? Yeah, I have a couple of friends who is retiring in Thailand. They buy, they invest in farmlands and they get some returns from there, and they just build a house around those places. Sounds amazing lah. Okay, Portugal is also, yes, Carol. You can consider Portugal, but first you have to learn your Portuguese to make sure you can
Oh
speak the language.
no, no.
No.
English language is
English can,
actually there. Yes, yes.
Yes.
Okay, I've never been there. I don't know, but yeah, I hope Carol, we answer your questions. Do continue to ask us questions. If we can answer, we will do our best. Right, Carol? Thank
Mm.
you, Carol. And we will continue with you, Mandy.
Mhm.
Mandy, tell me. I think you spoke about Thailand just a moment ago. Sounds interesting. Thailand is. I only know it's a place that we can go for holiday. You know, Phuket and stuff like that. Anything other than that about property investment? I have zero knowledge. Can you tell us more, Mandy?
Yeah, in fact, in Thailand, it's like the easiest entry level amongst all the Southeast Asia's country when talk about investments.
Easiest
So
because you think bus can reach there, is it?
no, it's just that in terms of the investor costings is actually much lower. They do not require any legal fees. You do not need to pay any legal fees. There's nothing like so-called stamp duty or foreign
Uh,
stamp duty,
okay.
and nothing like MOT. Okay, so if you were to purchase a
and
property,
and
and if
Sorry.
you
and
purchase
no
a
legal
property,
fees.
yeah, and if you purchase the properties, you probably just paid the transfer fees. That's about it. And the
So
transfer fee only costs you 1%.
So okay, as a Malaysian or as a foreigner in Thailand, right? What kind of property can I buy?
Okay, as a foreigner, you can actually buy both condominium or landed. But majority of the condominium are freehold. But if you want to buy landed, that will be under leasehold.
Okay.
So that's why a lot of people buying into those Pattaya, Chiang Mai, those villa, pool villa, that kind is more on the leasehold.
Ah, okay,
Mm.
okay. So
And
those.
if you want to buy freehold, then perhaps you need to form a company in Thailand, but you need to joint venture with the local. That means the shareholding must be 51 local, 49 foreign.
Mm-hmm.
The
Carol
percentage.
mentioned about Hua Hin. Hua Hin must be a nice place. I hear a lot of
Yes,
people talk about Hua Hin.
yeah, because lots of like Carol was saying that lots of golf course, very beautiful golf course. In fact, a lot of my friends, right, those golfer, right, they always
Yeah.
like to go Hua Hin because weather is good.
Yeah, Hua Hin is
Yeah.
colder, right?
Yes.
Okay, okay. Carol just asked again, in Thailand, can you own property? Yes, Mandy just mentioned that you can own high-rise condos, freehold, and if it's landed, it's going to be leasehold. Do they have MM2H? They will have
Okay. They do
Thailand.
not have, yeah, they do not have MM2H, but they have this called elite visa. So if for those who age 50 and above, you can actually apply. Otherwise, you can actually work like a elite membership, whereby you can actually buy the entries like 10 years, 20 years with a certain amount, okay, based on number of or your family member as well. So you can go in and out like a ministry or like a loyalty through the customs. No one will stop you, and someone that escort you all the way from the
Wow.
customs all the way out. Yes.
Wow.
Elite, right? Sounds
Yeah.
expensive way.
Elite. No, it's not very expensive. It's only a minimum. It's actually starting from Thai baht about 50,000 to about
Wait, let me take my calculator and count 50,000. How many?
no 500,000 to about two. Okay, sorry, it's 200,000 to about 500,000. Depends on number of years of visas that you want to apply.
Okay.
So
Okay, that sounds like
I would say it's about about 30,000 ringgit.
okay.
Minimum.
That is way cheaper than Australia way.
Yes. That's where you can see that right now Thailand there's a lots of expat and lots of foreigner, you know.
Okay, I'm going to
Because
tell
of
my
the reason.
wife that we should change destination, go Thailand lah.
Yeah.
because
More fun.
you look
Right?
at what my wife is saying. I want to retire in Australia,
Okay.
and then
But
plus she got family also. You see, so many people want to retire in Australia.
okay, Australia, yes, everybody love to retire in Australia, even myself, okay? But unfortunately, right now, if you are like above 45 years old, you can't go for skilled migrations. You have to go
Okay.
for business migration, and business migration will cost you a bomb as well.
Did you just reveal your age there?
Well,
Okay, let's take. I think.
Oops.
Oh, one more question
oh,
here. Okay, I don't know who is this one, but isn't investing in Malaysia will be better choice since the ringgit is weaker? Because if you're investing properties like Australia and Singapore with a stronger currency, you will have to have forex exposure risk. Mandy, you or Angela, you try to answer. I have an answer for this as well. You go ahead.
Angela?
Okay, of course, if you choose Australia and Singapore, yes. But again, when you sell back, it's still the same thing, right? Because the currency, when you sell it back, you also make back the exchange rate, right? Of course, right now you come out, and by the time, if you are talking about long term wise, the currency may be higher, and then you can still, I would consider right now Australia's currency is pretty low comparing the many years we invested. Mandy, remember there was how much 3 point something. Right now it's just
2.8,
reasonable.
2.9.
So
Yeah.
yes, so it's considered, to me it's considered weak already. You know, of course, I mean you don't compare with ringgit, but like says that whatever you buy right now with the weaker rate right now, you will make money when the time you sell it. It's still the same thing.
Plus, I think you can't generalize because, for example, Australia. I'm going to
Yes.
take Australia as an example. You set your budget and then you choose what
Yes.
you want to buy. You can't just because Australia everything landed 1 million, you go and invest in 1 million. Not necessarily. If let's say you think your budget is only 450,000 or 500,000 Australian dollar, you multiply by 3 point something four, it's only close to 1.01 million to about 2 million. So in Malaysia, if you want to buy a nice landed property in any decent places, Bandar Utama, Cheras or whatever, you're going to hit about R1 million anyway. Okay, but bearing in mind the rental returns overseas sometimes can be a lot higher than Malaysia. One unwritten rule in Australia is like, I can't tell for big cities, but in Gold Coast I'm quite familiar. If you buy a $400,000 property, your rental generally it's about $400 plus minus a week. A week, you know, we're talking about a week, you know. So you multiply by 4, minimum 4, sometimes 5. You're talking about the rental rates are like 4 times the price of, you know, the returns 4 times of Malaysia. So in terms of rental return is good. Plus the rental demand there is super strong, and you are regulated by a law that check the background of tenants. So there are many things. Once you really want to go into detail, Mandy and Angela is the expert that can explain to you this kind of thing step by step. But most importantly, people who are out there, if you're thinking about investing in overseas properties, you must get your facts right. You must know the facts from where to buy, what to buy, all the way until how to sell, you know, who to sell to whole stretch. You must know before you really invest into it. And you know, Mandy and Angela can actually share this with you. I have one listener here, Nell. Nell is very keen to know if, let's say, he wants to buy a property in Thailand. What is the purchase process? We are going a bit more technical. For those of you who really want to know, you have to open your ears. They're going to explain now.
Okay, so the buying process is actually very simple. As if you are buying those off the plan from developer, okay, you must buy under foreign quota. So in every development, 51% are local quota, just like our Bumi quota, and whereas 49% are the foreign quota. So of course, I have customers last time. He bought from some of the agents, did not realize that that is actually under local quota. So they won't see any problem until when they come to settlements, then they realize that they can't get their name transferred. So this is actually very important. So you have to buy under a foreign quota. And as long as you are holding a passport, okay, you can buy any properties with no restrictions, no limitations on the investment amount as well. You can buy as cheap as probably RM 200,000.
RM. Go.
Yeah.
Nowadays, RM 200,000 can buy anything on me.
Yes. Yes. In Thailand, you can still buy. You see? So that's the beauty part of it. That's why I say the entry level is so easy. Okay. And like I said just now, I mentioned the buying cost is not a lot. It's just 1% of transfer fees.
And what about in terms of, like, you know, like Australia, for example, different state have different laws. Does Thailand have that kind of thing, or is you know, same
Across
thing
the board.
across the board?
Yes.
Yeah. But one thing I have to add in is that, Neil, when you buy a Thailand property, you got to make sure your money remit to Thailand is in US dollars. Okay, it has to be wired to the bank to make it US dollars to the so-called developer, and from there they will also actually convert it into a Thai baht. Is to show that you are actually a foreign quota. That is one of the important factors. Many of our clients on the previous time, they actually bring money in just with baht, and then they buy, and then at the end of the day, when they get their title transfer, they say that unfortunately this is not shown that this is a foreign quota because you're using a baht to buy it right away. So therefore, you have to use a remittance of US dollars. That is the must. Okay.
Just out of curiosity, right? The sales and purchase agreement is in Thai or in English?
Okay, those days when I invest, like 6 years ago, when I invest in Thailand, I literally signed the Thai language kind of agreement. I don't even know what they're talking about. I just signed. Okay, luckily I'm safe. Okay.
Yeah, so, you're taking a big risk.
Yeah, I'm quite daring that time. Okay, but now they come with a dual language. That means you have both English and Thai, and you can sign the SPA. Even in Malaysia, you don't have to fly over to Thailand and sign the contract.
Oh, so convenient.
Yes.
Okay. Sounds like a very interesting investment opportunity. Both of you should organize, you know, like both of you, like tour agencies, doing property tours to Thailand.
We
Sure,
did,
a
we
lot of
did,
people.
we
Guys,
did.
And that
if
is
you guys
why,
are
and
listening in,
that
those
is
of you, sorry, if those of you listening in, if you're interested to go Thailand, follow these two sisters, go for tour, shopping, makan, and then also to see property, please type in the chat box there, I want to go to Thailand. Okay, I want to go to Thailand. Type in there, and then they will organize for us to go. Okay, sorry, Angela, I interrupted you. Go ahead.
okay. Yes. Yeah, I actually forgotten when
You
you
forgot what you
mentioned
were
the name of it.
sorry, I potong your jalan already. But yeah,
But make sure you can really walk. I mean, if you really want to understand the Thailand markets, right? Normally what we do is like, in fact, that's how I learned. My MD in Thailand actually made me walk every stations. If you want to learn Thailand real estate markets, right, you have to go through the so-called the BTS, the train stations. Then you can actually understand every district's their unique selling points and their markets over there.
yeah, I agree. Actually, right, any country if you want to go for holiday or anything, right, the first thing is you go and study their train system first. You might have been to Japan, and the first thing I stand there,
Yes.
I probably spends 2 days. If there's a college to study the whole train system of Japan, I will go and study, man. It's so complicated. So I think now,
Yeah.
because
Now
Thailand is, yeah, you
now
remember
I
now we are.
remember. I remember that buying in Thailand also is just like in Australia. All you have to pay is a certain percentage, and then only upon completion you pay the rest.
Okay. Hey, talking about
So
Thailand,
you
let me.
don't. It's not like in Malaysia. Uh-huh. So it's not like in Malaysia you have to be progressively pay unless it's a completed project.
But of course, the difference is like Thailand, they require the higher percentage when it comes to down payment. In Australia, we talk about 10-90, okay?
10%.
But in
Yes.
Thailand, we are normally talking about 30-70. So 30% down payment, 70% upon completion. The difference between Thailand and Australia, the 30% goes to developer, whereas Australia, the 10% goes to the trust account.
How about can we take loan or have to be by cash?
Which country are you talking about?
Thailand. We too many countries, right? Thailand. We still in Thailand.
Okay, Thailand, yes. UOB Singapore is actually provide some financings as well as UOB Thailand. UOB Thailand, only certain developers they actually will offer the financings. So
Can we buy sub-sale or we must buy project?
No, we can buy both sub-sales and project. Even though when you exceed, you can sell to both local or foreigner. Even though yours is under foreign quota, you can sell to anybody.
That helps a lot.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so you're saying that just now 30% down payment.
Yes.
Okay. So that's standard across the board.
Some they will probably offer you about 25% or 20%. Yeah. Okay. Another interesting part about Thailand is like you are able to sell even before completions.
Oh, wow.
That means flip. But you got to be careful. Not all the projects or all the locations you can flip. There are certain criteria you need to look at it.
I think yeah, as interesting as you make it sound, right? Every country that you want to invest in, you still have, there always be, they've got the good apple and bad apple. We still got to be very, very careful. That's why you don't, I always never suggest that you guys just fly into the country, find for some local property people over there and just buy, simply random buy. You're going to get up in trouble. 90% of the times you get in trouble. So that's why it's always look for our local people here that you trust and you know. If we, Mandy, Angela, and myself, we tell you it's good, you must trust. You see our face so honest, we won't bluff you. Hey, you got a lot of fans who wants to go to Thailand now. You guys better organize a tour already. You see?
No, in fact, it's like because we are the investor as well, so we always put ourselves in the investment decisions as well.
Yeah, because we have vested interest in that place. Whatever we invested, we are. I think we are talking by experience, lah. We are not just selling on a piece of paper, right?
And we want to build long-term relationship. We are hoping to get more referrals rather than just get one-off business. And at the end, that I recommend you the one of the bad projects, and you won't come back to me, and my reputation would be
Yeah.
gone as
Oh,
well.
yeah. Property overseas investor, you always get repeat buyers on. You know, they will
Yes.
buy. One is not enough. One like Mandy. I mean, she got so many properties. Angela got so many properties. Huh?
You don't say that after income tax department come to me.
But you but you guys, people would like
But
to follow us going on property tour. You make sure you can walk. Mandy can really make you walk the whole day.
see your sister complaining about you.
One thing I always complain about her.
Hey, you know
She
what?
can walk from morning until evening.
As far as I know, for ladies, and some of the men that I know can walk as long as there is a place to shop. There is this word cheap, right? They will walk. I cannot. You know, you have one shopping mall there. If you have the whole place to shop there, I will find me a Starbucks. I will sit down, go and shop. You know, because I can never understand the rationale of shopping in Thailand or these cheap places, because I see one whole mall, they are selling
The same thing all over again.
selling $3 cheaper, and people get excited. I'm like, it's the same thing, lah, way. This I gotta respect. Your ladies, you all know about it, and you
No,
can.
that I seen one of my guy's friend. He's very good in bargaining. You know.
Yes. I think we are talking about the same guy. Yeah, no, I think, yeah. So you see, when you find a place like Thailand where it's so near and you can just reach out to there, and you have very strong reason to invest in a place like that, where it's nowadays it's getting safer. Those days, yeah lah. I mean, every time people say Thailand, wow, very cowboy, the place. We're a bit worried, but now it's so modern, government is so stable. It's something worth to look into. For those of you who are interested to know about Thailand property investment, you send a chat, a text in the chat box, or you contact. I will get you in touch with Mandy and Angela, right? Okay. Yeah, Shami mentioned about Thai property can sell to local foreign, however, down payment. Okay, Tammy mentioned where do we get loan from Thailand? Just now you mentioned UOB, right, Mandy?
Yes.
Yes.
Or
Okay.
they have some. Normally, what we advise is that if you were to get from UOB, even Singapore or Thailand, the interest rate probably might not be as low as Malaysia. So normally we suggest that if a Malaysian investor who love to invest in overseas, you probably can reinvest your local, which is Malaysia property, with Malaysia loan. Because right now, as you know, that our interest rate has been keep dropping and our OPR
Time already.
yes, it's the lowest in the history. So this is the best time to get your property to refinance, cash out, and buy properties in overseas. I think this is the easiest way, because if you would go through overseas banks, that chances that you might need to provide lots of documentations. Yeah.
Right. Okay. We've been talking a lot about Thailand. If time is also very limited, if I don't
Yes.
continue to change, I will still stay in Thailand. I cannot go to a different country now. Yeah. Just to rewind back, right? Angela, just now you mentioned about Cambodia. It was very fast. We went through. I didn't manage to ask a question. In Cambodia, right? Is it the same in Thailand? You can buy any property.
Cambodia, you can't buy landed properties.
Yes.
You can buy apartments or condo that is second floor and above. In other words, the ground floor is all for local. So it's actually a freehold properties. You can obtain a freehold property structure, but it's no landed properties.
So if you compare like Thailand and Cambodia, Thailand is probably more matured and more in terms of the financing, the structural institution.
Yeah. And then the entry level is much lower, and Cambodia is talking about using US dollars, and this is one of the three largest countries in the world uses US dollars. So everything is transacted in USD. So in other words, you buy and sell, at the end of the day, you come back, it's still USD. Okay.
I know.
Not
The last
unlike
time,
like Thailand or Vietnam, you have to use it. You have to send the money used via some, and that's exchange currency difference. And when you bring back the Vietnamese or the so-called Thai, you have to change it back. But in this case, it's only US USD is much stable and reliable, making it easier for the foreigner to conduct their business and transaction there. So yes, and it's more
Okay.
beneficial for investor in that case.
All right. So now
Mm-hmm.
time to fly to a different country now that we have this question. Shame is asking, can Mandy and Angela recommend besides Malaysia, which ASEAN country has the best potential in property investment? I think we just mentioned about Thailand and Cambodia. Vietnam also we mentioned earlier, right? Any other countries that
Yes.
we can cover?
Of course, we can actually, okay, depends your properties, investments amount that you're talking about. That means your budgets, okay? Different
Yes.
country have different minimum entry to enter it. So it's very subjective and also depends on what kind of objective that you're looking at. Are you looking at long-term capital appreciations, or you're looking for short-term gain, or you are looking for ROI? So again, there are few factors you need to look into it before I could advise you, because I can't be generally telling you, oh, this is the best country that you can go in. So
True, true. Agree.
Yes. And how much do you expect to increase price on resale for a certain period? Like in Australia, it's definitely a long-term ones. And Thailand, yeah, in some locations, but Vietnam and Cambodia, yes, you can consider because the rental yield is very high. We are talking about Cambodia can refresh 8% to 12, and some comes with a GRR 8% as well.
So Shamir is asking in terms of ROI. In fact, let me just add that, Shamir, if you're talking about even ROI, it can come in many different forms. Are you talking about rental yield, or you're talking about capital appreciation? They have very different factors for different countries. If I were to share about Australia, I will tell you Australia is long term. You get good rental yield, but depending on where you buy, city center or suburbs, your capital appreciation may vary, right?
Yes.
I can't share much about Thailand. How is Thailand? Is it more focused on rental yield or capital appreciation?
In fact, you can actually look at both, especially those properties or projects that's actually along the BTS line, along the train stations, whereby history can actually show you that the transactions that have actually gone up to like 100 to 200%. And the we talk about rental yield, they're actually talking about they can do short-term Airbnb, which you think you know that Thailand is actually very popular. They have over about 38 million tourists last year. So
Yeah. I'm one of the main investors of the Airbnb there.
yeah.
Invest a lot of money in Airbnb, right?
So therefore, it's like the rental yield I'm talking about is 5 to about 8%, depends on the locations as well.
5 to 8% is very good compared to Malaysia. Malaysia is like, now they don't talk about it. Don't even talk about ROI in Malaysia.
So because in terms of the populations, in terms of the tourisms, I would say that Thailand is still the best, because in terms of the number, it's a number game, it's a volume. So in short term also you can see the benefit from there. And like just now what I think Carol was saying, that I'm not too sure who is the audience. Imagine that you were to buy a properties like 10 years ago, okay, whereby the dollar is still $1 equals to 10 baht, and now 10 years later, just the currency itself is already gained 30%.
True.
So that's the beauty part of diversify your investment portfolios through overseas properties.
See, Shame is saying 5 to 8% yield is very, very good. In fact, high performing. Yes, Shame, time to put your money in Thailand. Right? Okay.
And
So with
Cambodia and Vietnam, okay?
yeah. See, Angela is trying to remind us. So you wouldn't forget, huh?
Yes, because these three countries is just neighborhood, okay?
No
So
lah.
it's these
You see, the
emerging
thing
market
is in
countries, yes.
Thailand, you take bus, you can reach, but Cambodia, Vietnam, slightly further, a bit scared.
No, with one belt, one road, eventually we can take
Yes.
train.
Okay. When the belt comes first lah, haven't come in the belt. Haven't completed. Okay, so after this, when we come back, we will talk. We will fly. Now we're going to fly to Australia. Okay, we have covered Asian countries already. Mandy and Angela, don't forget. Do the tour. We want to go. Now MCO lifted. Can fly already. All
As
right.
long as you do not want to quarantine for 14 days.
Okay, okay. So when we come back again, we will talk about Australia shortly. Okay, now we are over to the other continent, which is Australia. It's a favorite subject. A lot of people like Australia, but yet don't know much about investing in Australia. I have Mandy and Angela here, the two Chen sisters, who are expert in the topic of overseas property investment. For those of you who join us, welcome to My Property Place. This week we are covering about international property investment, and let's start with Australia. Now, Australia is, to say big is not very big, to say small is not very small, but it consists of a couple different states. Which is your favorite state, Mandy, in Australia?
Perth.
Angela?
Melbourne.
Ah,
Melbourne.
Gold Coast. You see, three different location. You know, in whole Australia, which is interesting because Australia is such a variety of different characteristic. Every state has a very different characteristic. Okay. Okay. Tammy wants to know what are the new changes in Australia. Actually, yeah, both Tammy and I, we have not really been updating about Australia for quite a bit of time. So it's probably good to know what is new right now. So Mandy, Perth, what is investment strong there now? The property value, is it going strong there?
Okay, in fact, you talk about property value amongst all I would say the state, Perth is considered one of the lowest. Okay, and it's easier to enter because in terms of the foreign stamp duty, they have 75% of the rebates. So, but there are certain conditions applied. That means if you were to buy under constructions, okay, you would be able to get the 75% of the stamp duty waiver. So that means you don't have to pay so much. Compared to other state, even Perth, the stamp duty total is actually lesser compared to Melbourne, Sydney, and Brisbane. Okay.
Whoa. Okay.
And on top of that, because right now they do because of the pandemic, they do have some a grant, the incentive that to come up to actually encourage the first time purchaser to buy their first home. So
why can't they give a grant to give out easier visa leh?
No, visa is still very strict. they are
I
very
wish.
selective. They are very selective. Right now it's even stricter
Other, right?
compared to
Yeah. So okay, I think I win because many people like Gold Coast. I have people who like Emily. Yes, yes, Emily, Gold Coast. Okay, Geraldine who says Adelaide. Geraldine, you like Adelaide, but you spell Adelaide wrongly. And Tammy also, of course, will love Gold Coast. And Shamir is also Gold Coast, Brisbane. Yeah, Gold Coast is nice. Okay,
Wow, you have
Angela,
all your Gold
my
Coast
fancy,
fans.
all that.
Yeah, your fans.
Yeah, Angela, tell me about what about Melbourne? Melbourne is, I mean, to my impression, Melbourne is always expensive.
Yes, taste.
Okay, see my reaction.
No, I guess it's because I study there and I have lots of friends there. So I always love Melbourne because it's, well, the worst people would say about the weather, I still love it. So just imagine how much I love Melbourne. Everybody starts saying that, oh, the weather in Melbourne, it can be one day, 4 seasons. Well, that is exactly what I like.
Yes.
You know.
Actually, that's incredible to have. And I like the part that they will actually predict and tell you, okay, 7 o'clock, wear your jacket. It's a cold change.
Yes, yes. So you can have one day, you can have 4 fashions. Wow. Isn't that something different? That's how much I love Melbourne.
Yeah,
So therefore, yeah, and then and Melbourne is always busy,
mm.
and I
It's
like
always busy.
busy. It's
except
always
now.
busy. I mean,
Except
yes.
now.
Oh,
It's
oh,
locked
my
down for 3
sister.
weeks.
Okay, yeah, because
Now,
it's over aggressive. It's too aggressive until it's
the
locked
only
down.
place that is busy right now is our highway everyday jam. Yeah, in Malaysia. I mean, other places, everything is on lockdown. Okay,
Yeah.
here's the thing about, we're talking about characteristic of Australia. When we talk about Perth, sorry, Mandy, a lot of people say that Perth a little bit boring.
Yeah, but you haven't explored
Yeah,
further.
Then
but boring has its,
seven livable city in the world. So I win for that. Okay.
okay, lah, I'll give you lah.
Consecutive.
Okay, Perth is, people say is boring. However, I think the positive factor that people like, a lot of Hong Kong people like to go to Perth, a lot of China people like to go to Perth, is because it's on the same time zone. So if you're going to call in Perth right now, at least the fella over there is waking up at the same time as you or sleeping at the same time as you. That makes a very big difference. And then you go to Perth, it's like driving to Ipoh, same time. Flying to Perth is like driving to Ipoh, 5 hours. Okay, you reach to Perth. Those are, so
Entry level in Perth is cheaper than the rest of the city.
the cost of
Uh,
property, right?
290,000 Aussie dollars you can invest in one property already.
I remember, right, back in 2014 or 2015, right, you are able to buy a landed single-story house for 300 over thousand. I don't know whether still got or not lah now. I mean, maybe you buy further a bit lah.
Yep.
It's very hard to get. Yeah.
Mine will probably have to be 60 kilometers away.
I have seen a town in, I can't remember where in Melbourne, 60 kilometers away, just above Epping, where the last train station over there. I can't remember the name of the town already, but that is 60 kilometers away, and they were selling at 400 over thousand landed houses. Yeah.
Melton,
You
right?
see, such a high class place.
But the good thing about Australia is that no matter how far, here, if you say 60 kilometers from KL, people say, siao, want to buy so far away.
Yes.
Yeah, but in Australia, the suburbs are all very well equipped. They build the township, everything is ready before the house is ready, right?
Yes.
Yeah, the stations, the shopping malls, the schools, they're all ready, then the houses come up. So it makes a very, very big difference, in the
They have
suburbs.
their own community in every suburb, and so therefore you don't really have to go to the CBD or the city to shop and to buy everything. So even within the suburb itself, you have job opportunities. You have all the infrastructure, schools, it's ready. So you do not have to worry. That's why a lot of Malaysians, they always I only want to buy in the CBD. So when you tell them suburb, they say no, CBD. But do you know that when come to exit, the suburb is easier than the CBD?
Yes, that's right. That's right. Here, I think, okay, let me just tell you something. The place is called Mernda.
Meda.
Mernda,
Yes,
right, Angela? Mernda is right at the north,
Yes.
just after Epping. 60 kilometers, and they have a huge retirement village inside this township, and they still have horses that you can ride there. Yeah, so it's really still cowboy. Okay. And she's saying Melbourne still can buy 30 kilometers, must buy now, cost develop. Oh, of course, everything is moving so fast. Just to share, I think 2015, 2014 in Gold Coast suburbs, not in the city center, Surfers Paradise, about 10 kilometers away, you can buy a single story, 2,000 square feet landed bungalow with 4,000 square feet land for 400,000 Australian dollar. Today, slowly wait. We call that slowly wait.
But even though right now, Brisbane, you talk about anything within 20 kilometers is hard to get as well.
Yes, it's moving too fast, and we're talking about just 3-4 years ago only.
Yes.
It's not too long, so that's how
Yes.
fast it's moving. That's why it makes a very big difference.
So that's why when you buy a right properties, you don't even have to wait too long. Like what I mentioned is if in Melbourne I'm talking about Hawthorne, that was 2 years ago I buy, and right now it's actually raised up more than 300,000. So I don't even have to wait until 7 years or one fold.
Okay,
So
I want to
again,
share
location is very important.
Of course. I want to share something really important for the listeners out there who are listening right now. If you're interested in Australian property, there is one rule of thumb you must understand when you invest in Australian property, which is foreigners in Australia can only buy new properties. You cannot buy sub-sale properties. Okay, that is the rule of thumb. Okay, if you know this fact, right, which means to say next time when you sell your property, you cannot sell to your friends who are foreigners. You can only sell to locals or PR of Australia, whatever you buy. That means your exit strategy, like your exit plan. So with that in mind, right, you must remember if you ever want to buy a property in Australia, you to have a proper exit strategy, you've got to buy in somewhere that the local Australians or PRs are willing to buy from you. I quote you an example in Malaysia. If you're going to buy a place where locals will buy, you buy in PJ, SS2, Bandar Utama, Cheras, these kind of places, right? We locals will know. If there's double story house that's cheap, people will queue up to buy. But you ask orang putih, Western people to come, ask them to buy in Taman Lian Seng, they'll be like, siao, I don't know what is that place lah. Right? Right or not? So,
Yes.
but the thing is, here in we Malaysians, foreigners in Australia, when we go to Australia, we need to buy the Taman Lian Seng there. We need to buy the Taman Tun there. I mean, I'm just putting it.
Yeah, that's why I always tell my customer, even my my team member as well, always buy what locals prefer.
Yeah.
Okay. In
Yeah.
every country, you have to. This is also the rules of thumb that every country you need to apply this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So,
one thing, Timothy, that one thing I need to highlight, if you buy commercial in Australia, you can actually sell it to even foreigner.
commercial.
Only
But commercial
commercial
is a
properties. Yes.
totally different ball game altogether.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that we'll probably have another session just for that. Okay. Adrian has joined us. Thank you very much, Adrian, for joining us. And Adrian has just said that Australian banks stop giving loans to foreigners. It will impact the prices. What do you think, Mandy?
Okay. In fact, some of the Australian bank, second tier or third tier, they are open up right now. And they actually revised the interest rate compared to those days when the bank stopped all the lending, whereby the private funder actually charged a very high interest rate, such as like from 8% to 12%. But right now, they actually reduce from the way we look at it, it's like from 4% up to about 6 or 7% only. That is on the second tier and third tier, not on the top big four banks in Australia.
I think the Australians are also starting to slowly open up. Finally, I've been waiting for so many years for them to open up, and that's why if once it open up, then it's going to be easier for us Malaysians to invest in Australia again. So basically, as we mentioned, I think our time is almost up already. Let me talk about, just wrap up on Australia. We talk about Melbourne being a very good place to invest. Brisbane, Gold Coast, that's something that I can share a lot about. I'm very familiar in this place. And also Perth, Mandy is very good in it. Notice three of us here, we don't have a fourth person. Even we have a fourth person, they won't mention Sydney, simply because Sydney cannot get stock.
Oh, I can. I
You
still
can.
can.
But my gang of friends all Sydney, not Sydney kaki. Yeah.
In
So
fact, if let's say you want to get any Sydney stock, we have this developer is actually quite good. They can actually offer the financings.
but Sydney, what's the entry level for Sydney? Like a landed property in Sydney?
Okay, landed you got to talk like 80 kilometer or 60 to 80 kilometer at least. Yeah. Otherwise, you talk about those townhouses also cost you more than 2 million.
Basically, we're still focusing on high rise lah in Sydney also. What should I be? How much money should I prepare for high rise in Sydney?
Sydney, I think right now you can get minimum about below 600. You can actually get the apartment as well in Parramatta.
Below 600,000. Can get a very, very nice landed property in Melbourne or in Gold Coast.
Yeah.
Different
locations, okay? Depends on
600,000
your
can buy
objective.
double story.
Yes.
But nobody like double story in Australia, sorry. That's why we never mention about Sydney here, you see.
Is it wise to invest in a retirement village in Australia? Carol is asking.
Oh, Okay, this is a good question. Retirement village technology in Australia is very advanced. In fact, there's only two places, as far as I know, in the world that is very advanced in terms of these retirement plans will be Australia and Japan. Of
Yep.
course, we won't cover Japan today, but Australia has a very good plan, and I would say it's widely accepted as well. Retirement village in Australia, and if there is a plan for investment plan for retirement village, I think it's something that is worthwhile going. But again, look at the developer, because many local developers, you must be familiar with them.
Okay, but then I would probably not advise to invest in retirement village. You can actually invest in those under the scheme of NDIS. It's
Mm.
something for it's not
What
for
is NDIS?
retirement.
Mm.
NDS National Disable the I
How
stand
layer? How see ya?
uh, suddenly caught me in my mind. Okay,
Okay.
it's more for those disabled people to stay in, and whereby your home or your house will have more on the high tech kind of facilities or features to cater for this group of people, and the return is actually much higher compared to the retirement village.
So you're saying, Mandy, that these are not purely retirement village investments. They are normal homes, but with the facilities.
Yes, and government actually giving some subsidies as well.
Okay,
So
okay.
this is probably better one, or you can actually invest in the other one called NRES, whereby right now only Perth available, and
Mm.
again governments are giving some incentive. The incentive is tax free, and every year they are giving you about 11,000
Okay, okay.
AUD. So
Yeah.
this is probably a better options compared to the retirement village.
Yeah, I'm sure Mandy, whatever good stuff I should say is only available in Perth. One.
No, no, no.
No, just
Seriously,
kidding. I'm just kidding.
you can
I'm just kidding.
Google.
I'm just kidding. All right.
Okay.
Shami is asking one question: is that besides Asia and Oceania, in Australia, New Zealand, which continents or country perhaps both of you consider to invest in real estate? UK. He's asking whether is UK a viable place to invest as well.
Of course, now is a good time to go into the UK. Angela will be able to share why UK.
For UK
Yes.
expert. All right, Mike. Let's go on.
Yes, yes, because right now we are talking about a developer is actually giving a lot of, those developers that we know are giving a very good price for UK. Of course, when you talk about UK, I need to know which zone are you looking at. I mean, not something that is UK, something that is so too far that probably I won't able to get stocks. But even as far as Manchester and Birmingham, also no problem. Liverpool is also
Manchester. Okay, not Manchester United.
Yes, yes, yes. And yeah, and some of the zone two and three is pretty good right now.
So
Okay.
To
Angela
go
was talking
in.
about London. Yeah, London zone two
Yeah,
to four. I think is a good buy right now. Yep.
it's quite yes.
But you see, London and Australia is two different animal, right?
Mm.
Because London
Yes.
itself, just to when you say zone, London zone one, zone two, zone three, Liverpool, Manchester, all these are very different understanding. So if let's say you want to
Yes.
go into UK investment, you've got to really understand the geographic of the
Yes.
place. Like compared to Australia, we can three of us, we can give you the whole geographic of the whole Australia
Yes.
and what are the good place to invest and what is not so favorable. So that's a very different thing. I
But
think
for those who actually going into UK or London or whatsoever, right now they actually come up with a stamp duty holiday scheme whereby
mm,
you have the bracket of the stamp duty waiver up to £500,000. So again, there's lots of savings there.
mm,
Mm.
great.
Youth it depends on okay. If you talk about one and two, the youth is probably much lower. We are actually talking about 2 to 3%.
Mm,
Okay, so but if you invest further, I would say probably within 4%. Okay, of course you are talking about Manchester, you're talking about Birmingham. The yield probably is slightly higher.
mm.
Okay, because the entry price is much lower. But please don't ever invest in student accommodations.
Yes, yes, agreeable,
Yes.
agreeable. Anytime you might not even get a bank to give you financing for these kind of things. Even in Australia, it's the same thing. Student accommodation is I would say it's sorry, a bit overrated. So don't jump into that. Um, okay. Another thing, which state? Shami mentioned which going out of London to invest. Which state in UK? Angela, any idea?
I would say that is you. I am saying that the zone 3 right now, 2 to 3 is a pretty good price because zone 1 is really very high right now. So to get in zone 2 between, just like I'll just make it a lady's way to talk. Just like you buy a 1 carat diamond, there is a 1 carat diamond's price there. But if you're getting a 0.95 or 98, it is the best price. So in other words, try to get something that is really quite close to zone 1, but it's still classified as zone 2, but it's very near to zone 1. Those are the areas that is, is a good price. Even like you're talking about zone 3 to zone 2, there is always a level of each zone. So you get something that is quite close to it, and like I say, any places that is near to the tube, is always the best
Public
price.
transportation. That's right. Great.
Yes.
Okay. So anyway, I'm telling you, UK is going to be one whole show altogether just to talk about UK.
Yes.
Maybe we can do
Yes.
one show on UK properties, cover the different areas in UK, and we can have a good chat on that. Mandy, you have a fancy, Sally says that Perth is the right choice.
Yeah. Thanks, Sally, for the support.
Yeah, otherwise it's go to Australia instead. Yeah, okay, good. I think we have covered quite a lot. Our time now is 10:12. We're way past our time. I delayed a little bit because we started late just now. Okay, so if you have any more questions, you can ask. Here, I would like to throw in something. Actually, today, Home Creation Realtor has sponsored something very special. They are giving out a voucher. This is the voucher, 3,000 ringgit voucher for those of you who are interested to buy a property through Home Creation Realtor. They're giving 3,000 off of whatever in rebates that we're talking about. And to get this voucher, I've got 3 vouchers to give out. And I'm going to test my listeners, my audience on some questions, see if they can remember what three of us are talking about all this time. All right. Can you guys, okay, here's the first voucher I'm going to give out. It's worth 3,000 ringgit for you to buy any property that Home Creation Realtor is selling. Okay. What is Mandy's favorite place in Australia? Okay.
That's easy.
Angela cannot answer. What is Mandy's favorite place in Australia? Okay, the first person to give me an answer, I'll give you this 3,000 ringgit voucher. It's really worth 3,000. Oh, so many people answered. Shami, you answered Perth. Is that correct, Mandy?
Yes. Yay.
Hey, Shami, I give you easy one. All right. Okay, Shami is our first. Sorry, Nell. Shami has answered. Sorry, Emily. Shami is the first to answer. Okay, hang on. I'm going to ask a second question. This time it's got to do with Angela. All right. Question for about Angela. How old is Angela? Yeah, I didn't. No. Trick question. Okay. No. Here's the question. I think won't be fair for those of you who just joined us, but I still have to throw the question. Angela, it has been in the real estate industry because of Mandy has influenced Angela to join it. But prior to property, what market or what work has Angela been before entering into the real estate market? This is my second voucher, 3,000 ringgit. Anyone can give me an answer. The first answer, what market has Angela been before going into the real estate market? Anyone can give me the first answer. Come on, 3,000 ringgit for you to buy any properties that you want. No answer, way. No one paying attention. See, no one paying attention to what Angela. Come on, anyone. Nell, we are past that question. We don't want to know how. We cannot know how old is Angela. No, that's secret. Anyone can tell me what Angela has done before into the real estate market? No answer? Anyone? No, then I'm going to switch the question.
Too difficult for them.
Yeah, too difficult because they didn't pay attention. Okay.
No, they only pay attention on the property side.
No lah, they are just staring at you lah because both of you so okay. Next question I'd like to ask is where is Angela staying now? Anyone can tell me where is Angela now? Okay, you guys know Mandy and myself, Timothy here. We are here in PJ. Angela is somewhere else. Okay, she's not in Australia, that's for sure. She's not in Thailand as well. Can anyone?
Not in Vietnam. Not in Vietnam.
Yep. Emily says Ipoh. Is that right, Angela? La, Shami. Angela is at home. I'm sure she's at home right now.
Ipoh, Mali.
Ipoh. Emily, congratulations. Emily, don't forget to contact me. I'm going to pass the voucher to you later. All right, Emily? It's 3,000 ringgit for you to buy, 3,000 ringgit off for any properties if you buy a home creation realtor. Okay, here's my last one. Here's my last one. Okay, this is again for those of you who have just joined us, so you should know this question is something that we just discussed about just now. Thailand, all right? Mandy mentioned about Thailand. What kind of property can you buy as a foreigner in Thailand? Okay, guys, what kind of property in Thailand can you buy as a foreigner? Anyone got the answer for that? Okay, I'm still waiting. You are going to get the last of the 3,000 ringgit voucher that allows you to buy any property with Home Creation Realtor, any projects that you're selling. Come on. Both landed and high rise, Nell says. Is that right? Mandy? I'm asking what kind of property can a foreigner buy in Thailand? Correct. All right, Nell, congratulations. You've got yourself a 3,000 ringgit voucher to buy any projects that Home Creation Realtor is marketing. And congratulations to all you three winners, Nell, Emily, and Shamir. Okay, and again, to those of you who have just joined My Property Place, welcome to My Property Place. And we have way past our time. We have enjoyed our time. Mandy and Angela, you guys having a good time?
Yep.
Yes.
Thanks for inviting us to be one of your speaker in your program.
Yeah, I think we have not enough time. We can talk on some more, right? Yeah, 1 hour is a little bit too short. But I promise you, I'm going to bring Mandy and Angela back again for the next topic. Probably we can talk about UK or we can talk about another topic as well. Okay, I thank you again for Mandy and Angela for your time and the audience for spending your Saturday night with us. And we hope that you have benefited from our discussion session. If you have any more questions, feel free to just type in the chat box. We will continue to answer even though we are not online right now. Okay, thank you again, and I'll see you again next Saturday, 9 p.m. on My Property Place. Bye-bye.
Good night.
Okay, Mandy, Angela, Timothy signing off from My Property Place. Bye-bye.